Hello everyone, Jonathan Schlack, EAS&Weather here with a severe weather update. We have a slight risk for severe weather today that covers the far southern edge of North Dakota, most of South Dakota, central and northeastern Nebraska, northwestern Kansas, northwestern Iowa, and west central and southwestern Minnesota. We have a marginal risk for today that encompasses southeastern Montana, most of Wyoming, the southern half of North Dakota, western South Dakota, western and southeastern Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, west central, and northeastern Kansas, northern Missouri, west central Illinois, most of Iowa, most of Minnesota, and northwestern Wisconsin. Going to the tornado threat for today, we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado today that covers most of South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, northeastern Nebraska, and northwestern Iowa. Now going to the wind threat for today, we have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or higher today that covers the far southern edge of North Dakota, most of South Dakota, west central and southwestern Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, central and northeastern Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas. Now, if you look at the black dashed areas, which encompasses much of the southern half of South Dakota, the black dashed areas is where we have a 10% chance of seeing hurricane-force wind gusts of 74 miles per hour or higher today from thunderstorms. And again, that black dashed area encompasses much of the southern half of South Dakota, which means that area has the potential, a 10% chance of seeing hurricane-force wind gusts of 74 miles per hour or higher today. And we have a 5% chance of having damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or higher today that covers southeastern Montana, most of Wyoming, southern half of North Dakota, western South Dakota, northeastern Colorado, western and southeastern Nebraska, west central, and northeastern Kansas, northern Missouri, west central Illinois, most of Iowa, most of Minnesota, and northwestern Wisconsin. Now going to the the hail threat for today. We have a 15% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger today that covers the far south central part, the very far south central part of North Dakota, most of South Dakota, the very far extreme west central edge of Minnesota, central Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas. Don't like this update on me. And we also have a 5% chance of seeing hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger today that covers the extreme southeastern corner of Montana, the extreme northeastern corner of Wyoming, the southeastern half of North Dakota, western, extreme northeastern, and extreme southeastern South Dakota, western and eastern Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, west central and north central Kansas, northwestern Missouri, the western half of Iowa, most of Minnesota, and northwestern Wisconsin. So, now going to the summary for today. Scattered strong to severe thunderstorms are expected across parts of the central and northern plains this afternoon into tonight. So, that's today. I'm going to move over to tomorrow now. We have two areas where we have a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. We have one marginal tomorrow that covers the eastern half of North Dakota, well, I should say most of North Dakota, as well as most of South Dakota, and north central Nebraska. And we have another marginal risk area for tomorrow that covers southeastern Minnesota, southern half of Wisconsin, eastern half of Iowa, eastern Missouri, all of Illinois, most of Indiana, western half of Kentucky, and northwestern Tennessee. Now, going to the tornado threat for tomorrow, we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado tomorrow that covers southeastern Minnesota, the southern half of Wisconsin, eastern half of Iowa, eastern Missouri, pretty much all of Illinois, includes all of Illinois, as well as most of Indiana, the western half of Kentucky, and northwestern Tennessee. Now going to the wind threat for tomorrow, we have 2 areas where we have a 5% chance of seeing damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher tomorrow. One that covers most of North Dakota, most of South Dakota, and north central Nebraska. Another area where we have a 5% chance of seeing damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher tomorrow. Covers southeastern Minnesota, the southern half of Wisconsin, eastern half of Iowa, eastern Missouri, all of Illinois, most of Indiana, western half of Kentucky, and northwestern Tennessee. Now going to the hail threat for tomorrow, we have 2 areas where we have a 5% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger tomorrow. One that covers most of North Dakota, most of South Dakota, and north central Nebraska. Another area where we have a 5% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger tomorrow covers southeastern Minnesota, the southern half of Wisconsin, eastern half of Iowa, eastern Missouri, all of Illinois, most of Indiana, western half of Kentucky, and northwestern Tennessee. So, going to the summary for tomorrow, scattered strong to severe storms are possible in portions of the Midwest and the Northern Plains on Monday, which is tomorrow, so remain vigilant both today and tomorrow, even if you're in a marginal, but especially the slight today, especially if you're in the slight, remain vigilant today. So stay safe in the affected areas both today and tomorrow, and I will have another update tomorrow. Take care.